Hey guys, welcome back to Knife Review. In today's video, we are going to be comparing the Spyderco Tenacious against the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Now, both these knives are actually more similar than you probably thought. The biggest difference is going to be the price tag. The Spyderco Tenacious is going to run you around $47, and the Paramilitary 2 is going to run you around $140. So it's going to be basically a $100 price difference in between these two knives. So in this video, we're going to be comparing the knives, and we're also going to show you what you get for an extra $100 when picking up a knife like the Paramilitary 2. So first off, we're going to talk about the biggest difference, and that's going to be the blade steel. The blade steel here on the Spyderco Tenacious is going to be made out of 8CR13 MOV steel. So this is a very budget stainless steel, and it's going to hold its edge decently, but it's going to be relatively corrosion resistant, and it's going to be very easy to sharpen. And the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is going to be made out of a CPM S30V steel, which is going to have absolutely amazing edge retention, and it's also going to have very good corrosion resistance. So with the knives side by side here, we can see the Tenacious on the bottom and the Paramilitary 2 here on the top, and we're going to talk about the dimensions of these two knives. The cutting edge on the Paramilitary 2 is going to have a 3-inch cutting edge, and then the cutting edge here on the Spyderco Tenacious is actually going to be 3.39 inches long. So the Tenacious is actually going to have a longer cutting edge than the Paramilitary 2. But that being said, the overall length here on the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is going to be 8.28 inches, which is going to be a very long knife. And then here on the Tenacious, it's actually going to be 7.76 inches. So here we can see that the Tenacious is actually a decent amount smaller than the Paramilitary 2, even though it has a longer cutting edge. So as far as practicality and sizing goes, you're going to get a little bit better practicality out of the Spyderco Tenacious than you are going to the Paramilitary 2. Both these two knives have really nice G10 handles. I like the G10 handle on this Tenacious. I really like the color of it, and it does feel very good in the hand. And then I also like the grip here on the Paramilitary 2. It has a very nice handle. As far as weight goes, the Spyderco Tenacious is going to be a little bit heavier than the Paramilitary 2, coming in at 4.1 ounces, and the Para 2 is going to come in at 3.75 ounces. So the Paramilitary 2 is going to be a little bit lighter than the Spyderco Tenacious. Something that's really cool about these two knives is the ability to put the pocket clip wherever you want it. You can do tip up or tip down carry, and you can also do left or right hand, and it's going to be really nice and completely customizable on both these two knives. Both these two knives are very sharp right out of the box. The Paramilitary 2 is probably going to be a little bit sharper here right out of the box than the Tenacious is going to be. But as you guys can see, it does cut paper extremely well with the factory edge. No problems here with the Paramilitary 2. And then here with the Tenacious, it's also going to be pretty decently sharp. And again, both these knives do have factory edges. And again, they're going to be both very sharp. But again, you see a little snag there with the Spyderco Tenacious. It's not going to be quite as good as the Paramilitary 2 is going to be. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, the edge retention here on the Paramilitary 2 is going to be much better than it is going to be here on the Spyderco Tenacious. The Spyderco Tenacious is going to be made in China, and it's going to say here on the inside of the knife, it's just going to say China right there. It's a little bit gunked up right now, so it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but it is definitely made in China. And then here on the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, we're going to see where it says that it's made in USA. And again, that's going to kind of talk about the quality of the two knives. One's made in America, and the other is going to be made in China. So of course, it's no surprise that the one made in America is going to be more expensive and also a lot better as far as the overall build quality goes. Probably my favorite feature on the Paramilitary 2 is going to be the compression lock here on the bottom. It's basically going to act like a liner locker, but basically on the back of the knife. So it's going to be very handy, and you can close the knife very easily just by pinching it down, and it's just going to close just like that. And you can open it up and close it super easy and fast, and you don't have to worry about your thumb being in the way of the cutting path of the knife, where here on the Spyderco Tenacious, it is going to be a liner locker. So to actuate this knife and to close it, you're going to push the liner locker down like this while at the same time moving the blade closer to your thumb, and that's going to be dangerous. And as you guys can see with a scar on my thumb here, this knife has actually cut me before. So that being said, you definitely have to be a lot more careful with the Spyderco Tenacious than you do the Paramilitary 2. The opening and closing action of the Paramilitary 2 is a lot lot nicer and smoother than it is on the Tenacious. Tenacious is actually pretty hard to kind of flick it out. You're gonna have to use a lot more power for it to actually flick out. And also something to note, the little Spidey hole here is going to be much sharper here on the Spyderco Tenacious than it is going to be here on the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And because the Spyderco Tenacious has this black coating on here, we're not going to be able to easily sand it down. And it's actually going to kind of take a little chunk of your nail every time you open it up and close it. As you guys can see probably right here, it puts a little bit of a mark on the nail. And the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 definitely does not. It's nice and smooth, and you definitely don't have to worry about cutting yourself on the Spidey hole here on the Paramilitary 2. So no surprise, the fit and finish on the Paramilitary 2 is going to be a lot better than it is going to be here on the Tenacious. Also, the jimping here on the Paramilitary 2 is going to be really nice and defined, and it's just going to give you a lot of grip here, and it's going to give you a very good purchase. I believe Spyderco actually uses a water jet to get this jimping the exact perfect way, but here on the Tenacious, it's going to be very smooth and not nearly as jagged, and because of that, you're just not going to be able to get quite as good of a purchase as you would be able to on the Paramilitary 2. Overall, both these knives are definitely good. The Spyderco Tenacious is a good blade, but it's really just not going to be nearly as high quality as the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. The Paramilitary 2 is an absolute classic and definitely deserves to be. It is an absolutely fantastic knife. It's completely overbuilt and just a really, really good pocket knife. But the Spyderco Tenacious, while it looks good and I do like the Spidey hole, and it is definitely very sharp, it's going to be a little bit overpriced, coming in at almost $50 for a knife that doesn't even have D2 steel. It's going to be a little bit disappointing. So for $100 less, that's what you get. You get the Spyderco Tenacious, and for $100 more, you get a much better built knife. And again, that's not a surprise. If you guys want to pick up either one of these knives, I'm going to have a link in the description below. You guys can check out both these knives on Amazon. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give a big thumbs up below. And of course, make sure to hit the subscribe button because you guys don't want to miss any new knife reviews or comparisons just like this one. But that's all I got for you guys in this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.